So Eric, you got some more stuff you want to talk about?
I do.
Why don't you pick something? I think I only have really one more thing.
I've got 3 things. I can run through them pretty quick.
Okay, why don't you do that?
All right. So this is
my
less
last
of
thing I'll also talk about real briefly too. So
this is less a review and more of a recommends.
Okay.
This is called Kill All Monsters. I randomly stumbled on this. It starts as a webcomic and
not
gets
to
a
be confused
hardcover release.
with the PS2 game Destroy All Humans.
Destroy All Monsters is a Godzilla movie.
Yes, I knew I had heard Destroy All Monsters somewhere.
So, I've only read the first chapter of this, which is just a big fight.
Okay.
So far, I really like it. You can look at the art.
Sure.
It's longer, almost like the way we reprint newspaper strips, which is cool. It is smaller than I thought it would be, but so far it feels like a real fun, almost.
It's in date calendar format.
Yeah. It's almost like I want to say more fun Pacific Rim, but that's not exactly right. It's about mech pilots in a world where monsters have taken over, fighting the monsters. I'm not far enough into it to have a great sense of like characters or anything, but so far it seems real fun, and I'd never heard of it, and I like these kinds of things, so
The art's solid.
If it turns around as I'm reading through it and gets bad, I'll let people know, but for right now,
You'll unrecommend it?
maybe check this out. Maybe
Cool.
this is a thing that you've been needing and didn't know.
And you said it was a webcomic?
It starts as a webcomic. I didn't check to see if you can still read it as a webcomic.
It looks really good for a webcomic.
It does.
It's real pulp throwbacky.
And what's really cool in this formatting is they do double-page splashes.
That's cool.
That's cool. I don't know what that would look like on the
cat
computer.
robot guy?
Yeah, it's a cat robot guy. Yeah, there is.
Cool. I thought that's what that was.
I read Kraven's Last Hunt.
Yeah.
It's great. I'd never read Kraven's Last Hunt before.
Yeah, which is crazy. I've reviewed it twice.
Mike Zeck's art is amazing. Now, I like Mike Zeck, and we'll be talking about Mike Zeck next week, or next Omnibus when we talk about Secret Wars.
Yeah.
He also did the first Punisher miniseries. Like, I'm familiar with Mike Zeck, but just checking back in on Mike Zeck, I love Mike Zeck's artwork. Stuff like this.
It's so moody.
Yeah. But,
and nobody does rain like him. He does really good rain.
This, yeah, and wet. Things being wet.
Yes.
This, it's really good. It's one of those things where, like, I never read this because I always knew what it was.
Yeah.
I always knew the story of Kraven's Last Hunt. But I didn't know
that
how
Spider-Man
it ended.
gets buried alive, and
Yeah.
well, he kills himself.
Right, but I didn't know why he killed himself.
Yep.
And that's great, and also makes me wonder why he got brought back to life and how he's not really angry. Because he wins. He gets everything he wanted, and then he kills himself because he's completed his life's mission.
Yeah. He has no reason to live.
He has no reason to come back.
That is just the most sad, depressed guy.
Yeah. I love all of the dialogue about his parents and how he keeps, like, double speaking. Like, there's a page where he specifically says, like my father did this and this. He goes, no, my father was a patriot and always did the right thing. And, like, it's great.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's really good.
We reviewed that not too long ago, me and Dan. Oh, I mean, it's been a couple years now, I guess.
Yeah. It was before I moved here.
And I also think that's a story that you couldn't get away with as easily in the other costume. Like, I'm glad that happened during Black Costume.
Yes, I agree. Also, interesting to note, that is the thing that happens after they get married. They get married, Kraven's Last Hunt. I really like that.
That would put a strain on your relationship.
I do. You know what? I think that's part of why I'm excited for that the Hunted thing is Nick Spencer said he read all of Spider-Man, and his 2 favorite writers were Roger Stern and J.M. DeMatteis. So I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to do something with Kraven. I mean, everyone loves Kraven's Last Hunt, but...
Yeah. And that's one of those things that was so popular, it's so well known, that they did, like, a couple of other riffs on it. There's, like, there's a book called Kraven's First Hunt.
Which is a prequel to Grim Hunt.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yes, which is the conclusion of the Gauntlet storyline.
And there's another thing, too. I can't remember what it is, but...
Yeah, there is another hunt. And also, one other thing I wanted to mention with this, but I can't... Oh, you know what's weird about Kraven's Last Hunt? Because it's not just super popular, like, almost any time they run, like, polls, it's top 3, if not always #1 for best Spider-Man story of all time.
Wow.
It's never been adapted. It's not any of the animated series. It's not.
But we're hearing everyone talk about adapting it right now.
Like,
it will happen eventually.
That Kraven movie is apparently kind of going to be an adaptation
without
of this.
Spider-Man.
We almost did an adaptation as Amazing Spider-Man 3. That was a plan, was to skip ahead and do Amazing Spider-Man 3, or to do Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Kraven.
I think, I've said this before, I think the only way, because this comes up in Captain Logan show and stuff, people ask me about Kraven's Lesson and how you'd adapt it. And I think the only real way to do it right is to do a standalone animated movie. I mean, I think that's how you do it.
It's not a movie.
It's a small enough piece that you can do it in an hour 30, hour 20.
It's a story that I don't want to see made into a movie until we learn how to make movies with superheroes versus superhero movies. I don't want this bigger. I don't want this.
That's why I'm saying that you direct adapt it and animate it.
That would be really cool. That would be really cool. But yeah.
But don't hold the audience's hand like we keep doing with some of the DC things, where just put it in the context of what was going on then, you know? Just tell us at the beginning that they're married and they just got married and then that's the costume we wear.
There has been a novelization of this.
Interesting.
And it's set in modern continuity, which means they're not married during this story.
What?
It's not, when I say modern continuity, I don't mean I guess it's kind of set today, but they're not married, they're just together. Because canonically, they weren't married, they're just together.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have no interest in reading that now.
Well, is it my turn?
Yes.
Do you want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, I've got one more.
Okay. I'll just very briefly mention Batman Ninja Turtles 2, the Wrath of Bane.
The Secret Ooze?
It's not called the Wrath of Bane. This would be the secret of the Venom Ooze.
Oh, the Vooze.
Yeah, right. Because Bane gets a hold of the mutagen, and he mixes it with Venom to make giant crazy mutates and to make himself more powerful. And it's fine. It's not as good as the first story, I don't think. And it has a lot of the same problems, of course, that story had, because it's the same team. I'm not the biggest fan of Williams' art here. I like him in other things. The issue I have with, and maybe I talked about this when I reviewed the other miniseries, but when I say the other there are 3 now, because there's that crossover with Batman Animated Series Batman, and the art, and that's really weird, because it doesn't really look like those character models, but it's sort of that. It's weird. I don't like it. That's more fun than this, I guess, but I don't like the art in it. What Williams does inside the book is exactly what you see on this cover. Everybody has an outline. Everybody's got like a dark outline around them. And
like an animated series.
Yeah, and in a lot of panels, it looks like they're not actually there in the outline. It's like one of those cling things where
weird.
It looks like you put stickers on a coloring book or something. But I'm used to it because I read the first one. There's a character arc with Donatello here that I feel like is a little bit shallow, and it feels like a weird arc for him to have that wouldn't inform him through the rest of IDW, because it's awkward because it doesn't read like the IDW Turtles, but they put this in kind of a specific place and time, during that run. I guess it must be before City Fall, and Shredder's still around, so we can use him.
Oh, so I've actually read up to when this story takes place.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because I've read up to everything before City Fall.
And this is very shortly after the first one, which we tend to do with IDW crossovers, where it's Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles. We just saw you guys a couple of months ago. They kind of do that here, but the main impetus for this story, Donatello screws up everything and makes this crossover happen. So Donatello is feeling all insecure because this just feels like a thing that he would have dealt with before this, right? Where he's not as good of a fighter as his brothers, and he's sick of only being useful for his knowledge of machines. And he thinks that he's not adequate enough and that he doesn't actually contribute anything, even though obviously his science saves the day all the time. So he wants to be influenced by somebody who has more prowess and self-confidence, like Batman. So he opens up the dimension so that he can go talk to Batman, and then that ends up letting Bane through, and that's what starts the whole thing. And it just feels a lot like Tynion could not come up with an idea. That's what it reads like, or a way to make the thing he wants to happen. Cause
see, you don't have to deal with that. If you're not doing interdimensional, you just pretend they exist in the same universe.
Yeah, precisely. And I've complained about that ad nauseum with crossovers, so I won't go into that again. But that is the problem with this. I just don't like the way Tynion writes the Turtles. He's just not right for him.
And certainly the IDW Turtles, I would imagine.
Especially the IDW Turtles, because Michelangelo in this is just 2012 Michelangelo, and he writes. He's too influenced by 87. It's like that's the Turtles he knows, and he tries to update it enough. Like it's that in the movie, right? Like he tries to update it enough where it's kind of a serious thing, but there was more like whimsy and silly stuff in the like inherent ideas in the first story, so it worked a little bit better. In this, the Bane story is supposed to be taken a little more seriously, and this is Tynion, so he just writes as Bane, which is funny. But like it reads like I'm supposed to take the story more seriously, but then this is the one where at the end he brings in both the blimp and precisely the 87 Turtle Van. And I'm like, eh. So it just feels like I don't know what I'm reading. Like it's supposed to be, it's based too much on IDW to not be IDW, but it isn't really that. But I don't know. It's too novel in a way that he could just tell a great story. But
I get to see if there's another great story later in the news.
Kind of, yeah, that's right. That's right. I look forward to that. But yeah, too much fan service. And not backed up enough by a viable story. But yeah, I don't hate this. I'm sounding super negative on this, I guess. But the Shredder team-up, spoiler alert, is fun, I guess. Kind of predictable, which is why I don't mind spoiling it. But anyway, so it's okay. Like I said, I actually prefer the animated series crossover, even though the art's not great.
Interesting. Okay, the last thing I got to talk about is I read the first couple issues of Spider-Girl.
Yeah.
Which is including issue 0 or what if number whatever.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's what's weird.
Forgot about that.
It's printed in what if whatever, right? The trade prints it as issues with the issue 0 cover.
Yeah.
That's weird, right? They didn't put both of them.
I guess.
So like I don't know what the original cover looks like, unless it's just this, but they changed the top bit.
No, it's not. But I think they did that just because that's in the sequence. I mean, I have that cover.
Okay, I just think it's weird they didn't include the what if.
I forget. That's fair. I didn't know that was the same thing as the what if. I knew the what if happened, but I thought it was a different book.
No, issue 0 is just a recap of that. Or they reprinted it so everyone. Yes, it's a reprint, so everyone will be ready when the Spider-Girl series starts.
Can I see for a second?
Yeah.
So does it open with like I'm the Watcher and?
No.
No, it doesn't do that. Okay. Like I'm wondering if they cut stuff out of the what if.
I'm not sure.
And that might be why they didn't give you that. I probably have it. I could go find it, but.
So I read, and it's possible they include the cover in the back, but it's just weird to me that they chose to pick not the original cover, but the issue 0. Oh, I guess it's the exact
no,
cover.
It is the same cover. Yeah. Now I remember this.
But whose baby is she? So I read 6 issues of Spider-Girl, and
I love it when you make that reference. It's my favorite thing.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a little stiff.
Now you've read this before, right?
I have not.
Really? I didn't know that.
Like
I thought you were like a Mayday fan. I didn't know that.
I like Mayday. Like I've read issues here and there, but like nothing substantial.
The same here. Yeah. There's a trade I've reviewed accidentally twice, but never the first. Man, I wish I know you read that. I would have read
that. So it's really interesting.
People live and die by that book, man.
Yeah. I'm hoping what I'm reading is just kind of growing pains. It kind of gets a little bit more natural. Right now, it feels a little stiff. It feels a little like it's doing that classic thing, like every issue is a story. I don't want to say it's too compressed, but like it feels a little bit like I don't know, like they don't feel like people
Fair enough.
And, like, it would be different if I was reading a comic from 1973. This is a comic from 1999.
Yeah.
And so, like...
You're talking, like, just before Ultimate happens.
Yeah, so I'm kind of going back and forth on how I feel about it in that I like that it's more throwbacky, and I like that it feels more like classic comics. But I almost, at the same time, like, but it's not modern enough. Does that make sense?
Sure.
It's a lot of fun. So far, I'm not super impressed with all the villains. Although Spider Venom's pretty great. So the Venom symbiote breaks out. Venom symbiote has been held in captive in this glass jar thing, and this guy's like,
I've read that. It's been forever.
You've been smacking the same spot since you got here. What is it now, 10 years? 12? And moments after that is the hit that finally cracks it. And then it goes and gets Peter Parker.
That's really funny.
And it has this whole... Venom has this whole speech.
I gotta see what it looks like.
I don't love it.
Oh.
Yeah, right? It's not great.
No, it's not. I love this. Ah!
Venom has this whole speech about how he's like, with Eddie Brock, we just call ourselves Venom. And, like, maybe that's what we should still keep calling ourselves, but I like the irony of being Spider Venom.
In times past, with our former and much lamented true host, we were known as Venom. But now, thanks to our new addition, we like the irony of being called Spider Venom. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Beautiful! The expression on your face was almost worth all the years we spent in prison. Perhaps we should delay killing you. Oh, I gotta read this. This is great.
It's fun. I sent you that caption or I sent you that page where he,
God, I'm in such a Venom mood right now.
Where he, dangles a pedestrian over the side and is going to murder them, because he's not... It's weird, because Venom's in complete control, but he can't help but be influenced by Peter Parker. So he's holding this guy upside down, and he's like, "You'll pay for your blatant disregard of the law." And the guy goes, "What are you talking about?" "All I did was drop a candy wrapper." And then Venom says, "Littering may be a petty crime to some, but not to Spider Venom."
That's awesome!
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I'm going to keep reading this.
That's so silly.
The one criticism I have from what I've read and just kind of flipping ahead, they're too eager or pressured to get Spider-Girl and Spider-Man together. So, like, we keep kind of dancing around. So, like, Venom's back and, like, he's Spider-Venom. And it's like, it's kind of like they're together. And then a couple issues, I haven't gotten this far, but, like, I was flipping through it. In a couple issues, it's going to be like, oh, because you demanded it, they're going to team up, her dad and Spider-Girl. And then, like, 2 issues later, it's going to be like, but what you really wanted was for her to time travel and hang out with Spider-Man.
Oh.
And that feels a little like we're not worthy and we're worried.
Yeah, or we're worried that she doesn't sell the book enough by herself.
Yeah, yeah. The villains are...
It's that thing where, like, when you go to... Because, like, some people might not even know anything about Spider-Girl. She's Peter Parker's daughter, and it's in the future. And it's not like a 2099 future. It's like, you know...
It's present day. It's basically present day.
Yeah.
Like, it's the future of the Marvel Universe, but, like...
No, you're right.
In the same sliding time scale as, like, Spider-Man starts in the 60s, but it's still, like, 20 in the 90s.
It's the same thing as Earth 200 is. Where it's like, it's set now, and we say that all the Batman stuff happened in the 40s, right?
Yeah.
But with something like that, even though it's not futuristic, like they were really careful about that with Batman Beyond, where it was like, we don't want every episode to be like Terry McGinnis versus one of Batman's bad guys.
We don't want it to be Scarecrow Beyond, Catwoman Beyond.
Right.
What they did though was smart, and I'm not seeing here, and I wish they were doing a little bit more. This
is right around the same time.
Yeah. Is that they did do that, they just didn't do that. So it's not Scarecrow Beyond, it's Spellbinder. It's not Catwoman Beyond, it's that Ink Girl.
Yeah, but
it's the Royal Flush Gang.
Yeah, but it's different enough that, like, you can see the parallels, but it's not the same character.
No, but it feels familiar. It makes it still feel like Batman.
Yeah.
This doesn't exactly
Terry
have
McGinnis. Terry McGinnis needs a Catwoman.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be Catwoman.
Yes, yes.
He's a Scarecrow, but he's not Scarecrow. It's this other guy. He's got different motivations.
Yeah. And I hope they learn that at some point, because right now I'm not super impressed with them. One of them is just a janitor.
What?
there's a guy
Is he called the Janitor?
No, his name.
I want to be that villain though.
His name
Did you ever see the
is
Tick episode with Plunger Man?
Dragon King. Now
Oh yeah, I remember that cover.
Okay, so he's a janitor, and the kids don't like pay attention to him enough and just treat him like furniture. And these kids are all the same, and like he's been there since Peter Parker went to school.
Should I give that issue to my dad?
You should. I was thinking about that as well.
Just started.
Yeah.
As a school janitor.
Yeah, and then he goes downstairs and he's like, because he apparently lives in the building. I feel like that's a thing I see a lot in television and film and stuff, where it's like janitors live on the premises. But it's like high school.
I don't know about that with high school.
So he goes downstairs and he's like, well, luckily I have my collection of dragon things, which is the only thing I care about. I collect dragon things. And then later he gets cut. And he goes back down. He goes back down to his thing and it drops some blood on this like circlet, and then he becomes a dragon king.
Okay.
And like he even
does that feel like a D20 roll to you? Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna make a comic book about a janitor. and dragon.
This is the kind of thing where I feel like this book doesn't know whether it's trying to be throwbacky or just like modern comic book. Where like, so he goes downstairs to all his dragon stuff and
he's trying
goes,
to be hip and cool sometimes, right?
Yeah, or like just feel like I feel like there's a difference between just.
So you don't know if it's self-aware enough about the throwback stuff.
Yes, I don't know if it's writing in the past or intentionally throwing back. So like, because this feels dumb and it doesn't know that. I don't think it knows that it's dumb. So when he goes downstairs to his dragon collection, he goes to keep my collection current. Some of these pieces are real expensive, like the medallion, the one-of-a-kind piece, all the way from China. The dealer tried to convince me it possessed certain mystical properties, but I knew that was just a con to up the price. And later drops blood on it in terms of the Dragon King. It's some of that stuff where I'm like...
So are you complaining about the material that's there, or the fact that he's talking to himself for no good reason?
I don't mind that. I never mind that. I almost never mind that in superhero comics. Everyone talks to themselves, whatever.
All right.
Especially if we're getting rid of thought balloons. If you're going to complain that characters aren't the protagonists of thought balloons, fine. I have to get in their heads somehow. I have to get in the villains, in these other characters' heads somehow. Fine. I don't mind talking out loud. Especially
I don't fully agree with that, but that's fine.
Especially in something heightened like this, because it is more heightened than like
if you can write good exposition without dialogue, or get it in without it feeling like exposition and dialogue in a film or television, comics now have no excuse.
That's fair. Like
that's my argument against it.
This feels
and also,
kind of...
we don't need to get in everyone's head, which is the thing I don't like when comics do.
No, I know.
I don't like that.
I know.
Anyway, sorry, I'm a stickler for this.
But I also don't mind that like villains just like monologue themselves, like whatever. Like that's what villains do. Okay. That's a super comic. Yeah. I mean, one of the things that makes this feel...
It has to be the right kind of thing.
One of the things that makes this feel even more throwbacky is, and like I appreciate that about it. I just don't know how self-aware it is about it. Is that we went back to McFarlane webs.
No.
The webs are always drawn like that. They're never the spaghetti webbing.
Yeah, but again, that might be on purpose.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Like I think it's very much trying to be evocative of Ditko. It feels like it's trying to be Ditko.
I wish I could get more excited about this Venom design.
I had the exact same thing. When I got to that page, I was like, really? That's what he looks like?
Can I say what I like about it? The
okay.
color scheme.
The like blue,
I like the
black.
blue and black. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like the silver spider armor or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I do kind of dig on it though.
Oh, actually, just to jump back to this for like 6 seconds.
Just jump back to it.
Because I mentioned the webbing. So I don't know if you know this, but not only is it wedding and then this, it's this and then McFarlane.
Yeah.
We go from just classic, like I know it's obvious, but like we go from regular Spider-Man webs that we've had for 30 years, and then immediately to McFarlane's spaghetti webbing. That's so weird to me.
Not only that, but we also immediately go to more bleak and dour because that's what McFarlane likes to do.
That's true. That's true. Although
he wasn't writing right away.
No, Michelin is not as bleak and dour. Like it's a little bit more like it's a Spider-Man that post Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen world, but like it's not that.
Well,
it's not that every month.
Drawing that with material that's not written that way, so he can't do too much,
Although I guess we rushed to Venom very quickly.
I have not read that stuff in a long time. And I've never read all of it, but
it's fun. I've got the omnibus. It's fun. And I think they just reprinted it. Although you can probably get your hands on that stuff pretty easily.
At some point, I'm going to be crazy and review his book because I've never done it.
Kid Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Oh god, it's awful.
It's just impossible. I know it's terrible.
And like everyone talks about Torment.
But with the unique perspective I have, having read all of his Spawn, I feel like I gotta do it.
Oh no, that's fair.
I feel like at some point
thinking of that.
I gotta do it.
It's worse.
Because that's before Spawn.
Yeah.
And I've never read it.
That Hobgoblin arc is like Spawn before Spawn, but like worse.
I gotta do it.
I think there's even a kid in the alley.
It's been like 5 years now. I think I can handle more McFarlane writing now.
Not
Spawn.
And that is also an omnibus out right now, although you can also get that for like pennies.
And I have a lot of it.
So last thing.
Yes.
Because I haven't really talked character at all, because it's very throwback. First of all, I do love this as the future of the Marvel Universe. Like, it's really fun, like the Fantastic Five and the Avengers, and like, I really like this extension of the Marvel Universe. And I was like, yes, feels... I hate the future where everyone quits, which is what Daredevil Endgame is. I hate that. Yeah. I hate that everyone quits.
2099 does it too.
Yeah, I don't like that. I like that this just feels like the extension.
2099 is, we haven't had superheroes in forever, and it's almost like Jedi, where like people don't think they didn't exist, but they're nearly mythic.
It's the Age of Heroes.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I really like this as a continuation of the Marvel Universe, like in the future. Like, I think it's fun. I think it's having fun with continuity and things like that. And like where would things be? Like, I don't know what happened to Sue Storm, but Reed Richards is just in a Herbie body. And we know that he got like near fatally injured and like then put his brain into that robot body.
That's great.
Yeah, that's great. I really like so Peter lost his leg. That's why he stopped being Spider-Man. He's lost his leg in a big confrontation with the Green Goblin.
And is he a cop right now, or does he do that later?
He's a forensic cop.
Okay.
He's like CSI. He's not like a beat.
He's not a beat guy.
He's not a detective either.
He's on patrol.
He's a science guy, which makes sense.
That makes
and
so much sense.
And I love the idea that Peter Parker like wants to help people, and so like even when he stops being Spider-Man, he has to do something.
Right.
So like even though he doesn't have his powers, he has his responsibility. Like I like that.
Does he not have his powers? I mean, he can't really use them.
Yeah.
But Spider Sense would help.
You
could use that.
And we do play with that, where like they both kind of have the sense. No, the thing that's most impressive about this,
one thing I remember with Peter Parker. One thing I remember about that book, I haven't read a ton of it, but I remember that sometimes he will still have the half Spider-Man face.
Oh, I don't think I've gotten to that yet.
I have read something where that still happens.
Interesting.
I'm almost positive about that.
So the thing that I think is most impressive about this, and it's there in the first issue, which was just written as What If, which by the way, a lot of this is developed in the What If.
That's cool.
Where like the Fantastic Five's there, the Avengers are there. Oh my god, hold on. Okay, so I have to talk about. Sorry. I'm trying to be brief.
Which is fun because you never thought you'd get more.
Yeah.
Where you're just like you're writing a one-off What If. So yeah, I love What If.
So Mayday Parker is like 100% completely believable as the child of Mary Jane and Peter Parker. She is the perfect blend of those two people. I believe she came out exactly the way she did.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool and impressive that she's like a blend of both her parents. And not necessarily like in super obvious ways. Like it's just, she's got the responsibility, like she's kind of nerdy, but she's also kind of popular. And like she's got responsibility, but like she's also kind of, I don't know. Like
she's probably more of a risk taker, and she's got spunk, and
yeah, it just feels like both of them like really naturally, and I'm really impressed by that. So the villain for the first issue is Green Goblin, who is Normie Osborn, who is
I remember that.
Who is all right. Do you remember what he looks like? Because it's the most insane '90s thing it could possibly be. He's a big jack guy with long, like goblin hair, the cornrow thing that they do.
Oh my god!
With a giant tattoo on his back that says, "Honor thy father, murder the spider," and on the front it just says "Revenge."
Revenge? God, that's better than damaged across your forehead.
No, it's amazing.
Look at that. Wow.
So no, I really enjoyed reading this. I'm hoping it gets a little bit more natural. It just feels a little stiff, and like it feels like it's. What I'm hoping is it feels like it's finding its footing. Yeah. And like, it's only supposed to, like it's originally picked up for like 12 issues. Like it doesn't know it's going beyond 12 issues. Like,
and it goes for at least 50, right?
It goes
maybe
for almost 100.
Is it that long? Yeah.
So the
almost 150.
So Spider-Girl runs for 100. Then they relaunch this Amazing Spider-Girl. I think that runs for like 30 or 40.
And they bring the numbering back.
Well, I think it's just adding it all up.
I got you.
Then like. there's like the backups and like there's a miniseries. I think it's around 150 number of issues, just like with Spider-Girl in total.
Okay.
Because it keeps getting canceled. It's always in danger of cancellation, but like there's like a whole contingent of people that just like love this book and like kept it alive.
Yeah, there's a cult following that keeps
going. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
I enjoyed this. It was a real fun, and like it's what an all ages comic should be.
I read that Daredevil issue at one point. I remember that.
Dark Devil. I'm very interested to know about Dark Devil because he's like a mystery and I don't know anything about him. And I'm excited to find out about him.
I don't remember anymore. I used to know something about that, but it's been forever.
But and also
I even forgot that he was called Dark Devil until you said that. I knew there was a Daredevil something in that book.
But yeah, so I'm enjoying that. I'm gonna keep reading that. I'm liking what I've read so far. Cool. And I'm really excited they're putting out these collections because for a while it was really hard to get her in trade. Which is one, like I always wanted to read Spider-Girl but never could because it was always kind of like out of print and they did them in those digests and...
Yeah, I'll have to finally read that too because just like you, I read stray issues but I've never read it a lot.
But I could see myself becoming like a huge fan of this book. Like if it continues, like if it's good, if it gets better... Yeah. I could really like that. I like alternate futures, and I like
alternate Spider-Man stuff specifically for some reason. I don't know. It's like a lot of my favorite stuff is that because like 2099.
I also like 2099, and I like Ultimate, and yeah, and I also know that later on the Hobgoblin becomes a major villain. I love the Hobgoblin, so like, but I don't think that's for like another like 50, 60.
But I think a lot of that is because it's not the same character that for decades we've been forced to kind of spin our wheels on. Yeah, where it's like it feels like the original idea. In different ways, multiple times, like taken. Yeah.
Well, this really feels
that's allowed to run with itself and maybe have an ending, maybe have an. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This really feels like a Spider-Man that got an ending, and like I really like that. Yeah. I also like some of that '90s stuff that's tying into like it's very like the Clone Saga is relevant in this because like it happened like last year. Yeah. And like that's kind of like she talks about her Uncle Ben. Her Uncle Ben is Ben Reilly, and she's wearing specifically his Spider-Man costume, which is great on a female figure. It does. But yeah. So no, it's
no. I remember thinking when that was going on because I'm an old person because I'm older than you, and I remember when they went to that suit thinking that the gauntlets were weird. The things around the
the web shears on the outside.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah. And then Spider-Girl got it, and very quickly that just became the Spider-Girl suit. So when you see Spider-Man in it, it was really weirard.
So I also think I did like a little bit of looking at like Spider-Girl stuff. There's a Scarlet Spider in this book.
Oh, cool!
And it's Felicia Hardy's daughter. You know what else looks awesome on the female figure? The Scarlet Spider costume. I saw like a picture. I was like, oh, she looks awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. I keep reading it. I'm liking it.
And of course, there's precedent for that because we gave Spider-Girl or Spider-Woman for a while the black costume, and that was really cool. Oh, was it backwards?
Spider-Woman has the black costume,
it's a variation on it. It's different. It's not exactly that. It's not straight black. There's something else.
It's like an accident that like they both kind of have these similar costumes. But no,
weird.
No, we'll talk about when we get to Secret Wars.
I didn't know.
But if I'm correct, because that's the issue, because the Black Spider costume is the issue I had as a kid, so I read that one a number of times. If I remember correctly, he has this thought when he gets the costume. He's like, "That's weird. That's not my normal costume." Maybe I was thinking about Spider-Girl. It kind of looks like that costume.
That's great. I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's what I remember. I could be completely wrong.
Well, we're going to review Secret Wars soon.
We will. We will.
We'll know.
Yes.
We'll both completely forget about that and just repass that.
Yep.
Well, folks, thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Comic Vault this week. Just like last time, tons of comics. And we will be back again.
I've been trying to read a lot more than I've been reading. Like I've
noticed that
to try and because like I felt like I'd really fallen behind. I'm like, no, I want to read things.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because like a couple months ago, it seemed like you weren't reading comics at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, lately it just seems like you're constantly. You keep handing me things. You're like, I don't know if you'll get to this, but I just read this.
Well, I mean, that's how I read the Nick Spencer Spider-Man. I was like, you don't have to read it, but I read Nick Spencer Spider-Man, and yeah.
I'm glad you did that because I keep meaning to get to it. So yeah. Anyway, well, thanks again, folks, for watching. And if you are watching the Omnibus playlist, keep it rolling, won't you? We're gonna review some movies. We've got brand new movies to review, and also some things that aren't so brand new. That's also gonna be multiple videos because we have so many movies to do. So we've got to tackle the Lego Movie 2, and we have to tackle Alita, and we have some other things. Death of Superman. Superman.
Yes. Reign of the Superman.
Reign of the Superman. We also have to talk about for like at least a second. Anyway, once again, we sure appreciate you watching, and we will see you again shortly. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
Bye, folks.